From cradle to coffin, we're going to be talking with Age Friendly Princeton today. They're going to give us all kinds of information on activities happening in Princeton, from little kids to seniors and everything in between.
Stacy's going to let us know what the 8 domains are with Age Friendly, how they apply to our town, how they can help you, and how you can use them. And kind of just a little bit more about what's going on and how it's growing, and just, yeah. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned because we're about to dive in. Welcome to the Princeton Podcast, where we talk about upcoming events, news, and local businesses. This is Princeton. Play here, stay here.
Before we get started today, just a reminder to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We're also recording on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe at This is Princeton MN.
Today's podcast is brought to you by the Princeton Area Chamber of Commerce and Tourism.
Boom.
Nice.
Boom.
Nice.
That was my radio.
How'd you like to answer the phone like that every time?
I
not
would be
easy.
better at
Yeah.
saying
You
it.
should have that on your voicemail.
Yeah. Oh, Zach, I should.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That was
you
a
go.
great introduction. Good
Yeah.
job. But today we are going to be talking about an organization that we collaborate with quite a bit with This is Princeton. The group is called Age Friendly. And today our guest is a member of that leadership team, Stacy Marquardt from the city of Princeton. Hi, Stacy.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for making it.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Age Friendly Princeton, Stacy? Just give us an introduction, or Kim, are you doing that, or one of you two?
I can start with it.
All right.
So our Age Friendly Princeton started in November of 2020. That's when we became an Age Friendly city. We were the 8th city at that time in Minnesota to become an Age Friendly city, and since there has been several that have joined our group. Recently, we have combined our work with Act on Alzheimer's group to work together to become more of a dementia-friendly city as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing. So there used to be a separate group called ACT Princeton, maybe. ACT on Alzheimer's Princeton or
Yep.
something. Yeah.
There was something. So Age Friendly is not just a Princeton thing. It's starting to be a common thing.
You have
at-
to apply for it.
Yep, you have to
Oh.
apply through it, through AARP to become an official city. And I'm not sure how many there are now, but I think it's doubled in size since we started.
And we have somebody from, the chamber's part of the leadership committee as well. And there is someone from, is Natalie from AARP or she's
No.
a community,
We do have somebody from AARP,
that's
that's
Jay.
Jay. But she's from,
sorry, Natalie. But Natalie, she's on our leadership committee and she represents different regions. So she goes around and she consistently tells us, and so does Jay from AARP, that Princeton is really a leader in age-friendly communities. Other communities are looking at Princeton to see what we're doing.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So in simpler terms, what does Age Friendly do for people, or what could they learn about it, or who is it for mostly?
so our focus is to have people be able to age in place in the same location. So we would like to make our community a place where people can be born, go to school here, find jobs here, retire here, and then still continue to live here throughout their whole life. So the whole point is, from start to finish, we have a community that will meet all your needs. And so it's not just for senior needs, it's for all ages.
I think a lot of people think that Age Friendly is just for like an
Aging.
older aging person.
Yes.
So it's nice to hear that it's from start to finish, from youth and middles and
Yeah, well, like we
retirement.
talk about, for example, maybe sidewalks, and can people push their strollers, with their little kids on our sidewalks? Is there safe places to do that? The playgrounds, that's part of Age Friendly. All the way to, like Stacy was saying, aging in place at home and what kind of services are available for,
Yeah.
for that, to allow seniors to stay in their home.
Because what makes a city rank higher in an age-friendly community?
I'm not sure if there's necessarily a rank per se. I think that Princeton gets looked at a lot because we were one of the first, and we have a lot of activities and a lot of things that our age-friendly group does, where I think a lot of other cities, they're just starting out and maybe don't really know where to go with that. And so we're kind of a model, I guess you could say, on different things that we do in our city. to help with the age-friendly program. One of the things I did want to point out, Kim kind of talked about it a little bit, is our parks. We are really striving to make them age-friendly. So from a young toddler to an older person, we want them to be able to utilize our parks, whether it be certain playground equipment or accessible equipment or accessible splash park, all the way to the walking paths for an elderly person to be able to, get out in the winter and use our sidewalks or use our paths, or even in the summer. So we try to make it for a range of all ages to be able to utilize our parks.
And I believe that each community can sort of make it their own. So our community chose to do all ages, and I believe some communities do just focus on seniors.
Correct.
Okay.
So we have 8 domains of livability that we focus on, so that it allows us to kind of, hone in on certain areas that we want to improve. So
I think
there's,
that would be like to my question earlier.
Yeah.
What are the things that kind of make or qualify and make something better for age friendly?
right.
I think this is what I
Right.
was referring to.
So it's been several years ago, Age Friendly did some focus groups, and they invited people that would be more experts in each of these domains. And the focus group spent a couple of hours figuring out, like, okay, for one of our domains is outdoor spaces and buildings. So what do we have in Princeton what do we do well in that area in Princeton? So for example, we have really nice accessible parks. We have access to the Rum River, we have the community garden, we have the Mille Lacs County Fairgrounds. But at the time, there's a lot of people that said, we would sure love to have some pickleball courts. That's becoming really popular. Now we have those. And we've put to place, I think Stacy, you brought the card. One thing in Minnesota is that in the winter, there's an older gentleman that walks by here every day. And in the winter, it stops. And actually we asked him, what do you do in the winter? And he said, I don't walk anymore. There's nowhere to walk. So we put together a list of places that you can walk indoors in the winter in Princeton. So that's one thing we did with outdoor spaces and buildings in that domain.
What are those spaces?
Yes, so right now we have coordinated with Beyond Sports Princeton, the Evangelical Free Church, and the Princeton Ice Arena, and the Princeton Middle School and High School for indoor walking programs. We do also have flyers that we have posted around town. We have cards that we have strategically placed at different locations around the city, and then we also post it on social media so everybody can be aware. However you get information, we provide all the different forms of information, whether it's on paper or social media, just so we can get the word out for all ages.
So where would somebody look if they wanted to go? Can you just, obviously you can't just walk into the school at any time and walk.
Yeah, so
or-
for the schools, you need to get a pass through community ed.
Okay.
I believe it's $10.
Oh, okay.
The other locations, we have listed on the cards, like for the arena, there's certain times. And there's
Okay.
2 walking paths at the arena, and one includes stairs. So if you want a better workout to maybe go up and down a few stairs, you have that option. If you can't do stairs, there's another option where you can walk. And of course, it's cooler because the ice is on, but I kind of think that's nice. And
Yep.
I
when
agree.
you're, walking.
Burn more calories.
Right, yeah, and you burn
Yes,
more
you do.
calories, yeah. And so another domain that we work on is transportation. And so we have a member of TRICAP on our leadership committee too. And one thing that we heard from people is that there wasn't enough, routes in this area. And so since they've added more routes for people, and I think one misconception that people have about TRICAP is that not everybody can
Can you
ride.
explain what TRICAP is for people that don't know what
So TRICAP transportation are those
It's like
little
blue
blue
and
bus.
white buses,
Yeah,
yep.
that drive around, and they will bring you to, I think it's $2 or.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive.
Extremely inexpensive.
And anybody can ride those.
Anybody can ride them.
I think that's a misconception out there,
Definitely a
too.
misconception.
So if somebody just doesn't have a vehicle and it's raining, let's say, and they
Yeah.
need to get to Coburn's.
Yep.
They can just call.
They can call TRICAP, they'll come pick them up and
Cool.
bring them to Coburn's.
Yep, and they
Like
can
for
also bring them to things like doctor appointments, or if we have activities going on around town, they can bring them to those events too, so.
Where would you find like their hours and routes and?
You can either call them or go to their website. Yep, to find out more information. But they are a great resource, and you do see them, those buses all over town now. There's quite a few of them, and since they've added routes.
Cool.
And then another thing that we added a couple years ago that Stacy, maybe you can talk more about, is a Surrey bike that was purchased through a grant through Age Friendly Princeton.
Yes, we do have a Surrey bike that we got about a year ago. It is open for rental the first weekend in June through the last weekend of August. It is $10 per hour to ride for a maximum of 2 hours. It does have e-assist on it, so it is technically a pedal bike with 4 pedals. It can fit 6 people, 4 adults comfortably. And then you just rent it through the city's website, and we have a link to a program called Bookable where we have the rentals through that.
The e-assist is actually very powerful. It's pretty fun.
It is really fun. We took it
Yeah.
out and test drove it. What was that, last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do a little commercial.
It is so fun.
It's housed at Mark Park. So if you go to the splash park or you go to the park, sometimes you'll see it bopping around the park. We have people that will use it as advertising tools too. So just to help get the word out there too, that you can rent that.
And you can rent that during basically the bike is available during the season of Splash Park.
Correct.
Because that's when there's attendants working there, and that's where it's located in a garage there, so.
Yep, and the bike can actually be used in town. We've had people go to the ice cream shop, we've had people go to pizza pub, we've had people go through the McDonald's drive-through.
Coffee corner drive-through?
Yep, coffee corner drive-through. We have a safe routes map that we have put together and is on the bike for whoever rents it.
That is super fun.
It
and
is
again,
fun.
I think we should just say it one more time how it was purchased, because I feel like that's a question people.
Yes, it was
people
purchased
ask.
through a grant, and I believe the grant was AARP.
It was AARP grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the grant was written by Age Friendly through AARP, and so Age Friendly Princeton owns the bike. And we collaborate with the city of Princeton to rent it out.
Great.
So it wasn't my tax dollars?
It wasn't your tax dollars.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I heard it was $100,000 for that bike.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
Close.
Yeah.
100 grand for the bike.
Not quite 100 grand, but
No.
no.
I'm just teasing.
Million for the duck.
Yeah, and $1 million for the
Half a
dog.
mil for the bike.
Yep. And then, so another domain that Stacy is well-versed in is our domain of housing and making sure that we have enough housing for people and that we have affordable housing, that we have senior housing. And so we do have some great senior housing with the Kaylee House and Sterling Point, and but we have senior dining in Crystal Courts. That's senior dining is located in Crystal Courts. And so, but Stacy is part of a coalition that was started about a year ago.
Yep, it's about a year ago. It's the Housing and Homelessness Coalition. We actually have 2 members that sit on that coalition, myself and Julie from Age Friendly. We just recently put out a directory that you can find on our Facebook page, also on our website, that just gives some different resources for people who might have some housing or homelessness needs in the community.
And people looking for apartments, or it lists
Yep.
that. I mean, the guide that they put together is phenomenal. It lists places to get food.
Correct.
And if you have food insecurities, clothing. I mean, it's just got everything in
Yep,
this
it's a
book.
resource guide that we tried to make sure that we encompassed all the different needs of the community, whether, like you said, whether it's housing or food, or maybe you just don't have shelter for the night or things like that.
That is probably one of the tougher domains to work on because
Yes.
it's housing.
Housing.
You know,
Right.
so, but we just collaborate and do what we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is a main focus of the city and our age-friendly group, is to work on getting housing for our community. Because one of our other focuses is for people to live here, stay here, and work here. And so we need housing for them to be able to do that.
Yeah, I know that when we were talking, when we had Superintendent Barton in here, that was a concern for him, you know, as we're growing and we want to grow the school district, and that one of his concerns were we need places for people to live when they move here.
Right.
So,
And
that's-
affordable
And
for the
affordable.
jobs that we have in this area.
Right.
yes, yes.
And that's why it's such a great collaboration with This is Princeton, because it's sort of the same concept.
Yeah.
Work here, live here, stay here, play here, you know.
Yep.
So it's a great collaboration that we have with that.
I feel like Age Friendly and This is Princeton have a very similar vision. We want people, you know, to be able to stay here, stay in their homes throughout their whole life, or stay in the community throughout their whole life and meet all those needs.
There, what's the saying on that? From cradle to fatal, or
To fatal.
what is it? Cradle
I
to
hope it's not cradle to
Cradle to
fatal.
coffin? Cradle to urn?
is it cradle to coffin?
I have no idea.
There is a saying. We need James.
Yeah, we do. We need James. Yep.
I will look it up and post it in the comments.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a saying.
Yeah, there is.
Crib.
I know you're thinking, because I was trying to remember it too earlier, but I was like, maybe that wasn't appropriate saying. I don't remember what it was, but I don't think it was appropriate.
But it's basically like births to death.
Yeah, right.
You
Yes.
know, yeah. So
Cradle
another
to
one of
coffin.
our.
I think it is cradle to coffin.
Is it?
It might be cradle to coffin.
Ugh.
I think it is, yeah. Which is a little morbid.
I was
Yeah.
trying to think of like what rhymes with dirt.
Yeah. So another one of our domains, we've done a lot with this one, I feel like, is social participation and respect. And so this is all about,
Respect.
Sorry about that.
oops, sorry guys. So one thing that when the focus group said that we do well here is we have a community table. So if you're not familiar with that, that is offered once a month at one of the churches. Right now it's been Trinity and Emmanuel Lutheran, but many of the churches, they all go together on this, and they offer a free meal once a month, and that is open to anyone. Probably another misconception that you have to have food insecurities or something to go, but it is open to everyone for a free meal.
So the point of it is not just to have a free meal, but maybe to gather?
Yeah, exactly. To gather and talk with other people in the community, and yeah, just have a nice
And bonus, it's free.
And it's a free meal.
Very
Mhm.
cool.
And they do it usually from 4:30 to 6, and I believe it's the fourth Thursday of the month. Something like that.
Something like
I
that.
probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
third or fourth.
But all this information is on the Age Friendly Facebook page.
And there is a website through the city of Princeton. If you go to their homepage, it's right at the top. There's a little button.
Okay.
And soon, Age Friendly Princeton will have its own website. It's not quite
Awesome.
ready yet, but, and then one thing that we've been working on, is that we talk about over and over in Age Friendly is we wish we had a community center. And,
Yes.
you know, to be able to gather and play
up.
games,
Same.
and comes up all the time. So what we have started is what's called Community Center Without Walls. And so we talked with many of the churches and local organizations to figure out how could we, specifically for the 50,
Plus.
did we end up going 50 plus?
Yeah.
I
age
argued over that.
50 plus. Yeah.
Why?
Age 50
Why would you
plus.
argue over that, Kim?
I just felt it should be 60.
I know.
Or at
I
least
was-
55.
I was right there too.
And so basically a way that seniors can gather and play games and just, or maybe go for a walk, or, you know, people who are retired mainly that have something to do because we don't have a community center. So on the back side of the card that we created with the indoor walking, we have a program called Gathering and Games. And every Monday,
Oh, Wednesday.
and Wednesday, because isn't every Monday at Evangelical?
Wednesdays.
On the card. So I believe it's every Monday at the Evangelical Free Church.
Mondays from 1 to 3, yes, at the Evangelical Free Church, correct.
And then Wednesdays, it goes back and forth between Bethel Church and senior dining. And so every Monday and Wednesday, seniors age 50 or plus can gather and play games. And they have a pretty good turnout at senior dining.
Senior dining, they have a really good turnout at
Do
senior
they
dining.
like
yes.
cards?
Yes.
They play it, yeah. Holly Martinson of Crystal Cabinets, she volunteers almost every time and to play games. And there was a certain game, she said they have a really hot game going of, I can't remember
it
what it
500?
was. It wasn't 500, it was
No,
something
it
with
was like-
corners, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. And then someone made them card holders, and they have a shuffler, and yeah, so they're getting really decked out.
I would love
Yeah.
to get in on that.
I
500.
know, and they, you know, that's the other thing that came out of it, that with Holly volunteering there, where they're saying, you know, some of them have a hard time shuffling. Some of them have a hard time holding a lot of cards
Yep.
at once. So someone created something for them to hold the cards, and then we got them a shuffler. And
Cool.
yeah, and so that's something that we put together through Age Friendly to offer.
Do the ID?
Oh, the ID ages? Yeah.
I'm always looking for a good game of 500.
Yeah.
Nobody plays that anymore.
I know.
We
Yeah.
play 500 a lot. Mm-hmm. And my family.
Well, I'm a sub if you ever
Yeah.
need a sub.
Okay.
So that one is really a fun. And then the other thing that we do with social participation and respect is we produce a monthly calendar. It's a hard copy calendar because we were told again from seniors who do not have social media that they never know what's going on. And so we try to figure out a way to inform them. And so every month we create a calendar that we hang in 10 or 11 specific locations around the community where we feel they'll be able to see it. So for example, at the senior dining, there's one that hangs there. And
One at City Hall.
Yeah, one at City Hall,
And
one
then
at-
it's also on the website, so people
Yep.
who can virtually look at it
Yep.
is also there too.
senior, Sterling Point, it's
Sterling
at Sterling Point,
Library.
the library, yep. So
Coburn's.
any place that we can figure out, where a lot of people would see it, we have it hanging. So, and then this is where we collaborate with This is Princeton, is we have a QR code on that calendar that links right to our events page so that they can find out more details on the specifics. Because on a hard copy calendar, you can only put so much on there.
Right.
So, and they're slightly different in that on the age-friendly calendar, we include things like, like dementia-friendly classes that are happening or things like that, which we don't include on the This is Princeton website because it's not really an event for people visiting Princeton. So there's just slightly different, but
So, sorry, I'm going to kind of go off on a tangent. The dementia friendly, that is for caregivers. Is that right?
primarily, yeah, they offer classes. It's bigger than that though. For example, they have done training at different businesses, like say at Coburn's. I know they did a training several years ago so that employees knew what to do if they had somebody in the store with dementia or Alzheimer's that suddenly couldn't remember where they were, what was happening. How do you, what do you do in that situation? And how do you respond to that person?
Oh,
And so that's part of it. And then, yes, and then they offer respite for caregivers and also classes for caregivers where they can bring, the person they're caring for to do activities and stuff. And then the caregiver kind of gets some education too on things as well. And also, I think there's one just for caregivers.
I believe so.
Yeah. The Act on Alzheimer's piece of merging with Age Friendly is relatively new. So we're kind of learning about it too.
Yep. Julie Shane from Age Friendly was running that program as well, and that's how we recently combined efforts. So it's kind of new to Kim and I.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Yes, it does.
To be combined with Age Friendly because
Yes.
it's a part of making it.
Age friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this a good time for a break?
Sure is.
All right.
Be right back.
All right.
If you're a Princeton business that wants to increase their social engagement, influence purchase decisions, and build a stronger brand presence in Princeton, we want to work with you. We are offering 10 to 15 dedicated reels for your business and or a whiteboard animation, a featured spot on the Princeton podcast, your logo featured on our website, social collaborations on our social channels with over 6,000 followers, an email blast to over 400 active chamber members. Last but not least, we are guaranteeing over 15,000 views for your business and your brand and your product. And due to this claim, we're only offering this for 3 businesses. So if this is something that you want to do, please contact Kim at the Chamber to learn more information. Hope to work with you soon.
All right, welcome back. And we are talking about the domains of Age Friendly. What is the next one on the list?
The next one is called Work and Civic Engagement. So in this area, we want to make sure that we have lots of volunteer opportunities, work opportunities in our area. And we do have, I would say, a strong Chamber of Commerce.
We have a
and
very strong chamber.
So we collaborate a lot with the city, with other organizations, with the school district. And so through that, we've been able to offer some intergenerational opportunities, which have been really fun. And one of them is called Tech
classes.
Is it? Yeah, I can't remember what we called it, but
Like the ones
basically,
at Sterling Point?
yeah. So
Okay.
students from the high school teach classes to. They've done a couple now at Sterling Point, one at the high school, where people can sign up. Kind of if you have struggle to use your cell phone. I think we all know people that are like that have trouble, and so the kids just come and teach them the basics of how to set an alarm, how to change the ringtone, how to take a selfie, how to FaceTime someone. And then there's somebody there that knows Android and somebody that knows Apple. And
And it doesn't matter if you have a flip phone, Randy.
yeah, it doesn't matter. And Randy has really evolved. So, but it's really cool because high school kids get to work with seniors, and it's just a really neat. I don't know. It's just a really neat class. In fact, one of the sessions I was at, they were teaching residents of Sterling Point how to change their ringtone. And it was so loud with everybody like testing all the different sounds that they didn't know they could do. And then it was funny because they had said, now we're going to teach you how to set an alarm. And most of them were like, for what? I don't need an alarm. And then we were like, well, what about, do you need an alarm for medication? Or do you need an alarm for, So it's just been fun.
We can
Yeah.
all use that. I mean, I had to have somebody show
100%.
me how to make the words bigger.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
So I could read my phone.
Yeah, exactly. And they just keep updating and making the
that too.
technology more. And
Speaking of
You know?
technology, and I just recently got the new Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and the stuff. So it's moving from a image and text to now more of like a voice technology. I can now ask Meta like, what is in front of me, and it'll tell me what like statute or whatever. Like it'll actually speak to me and scan what I'm looking at,
Yeah.
and then tell me about
Your,
it.
Really?
your sunglasses?
Yeah, and so I can be like, "Hey Meta, what is the deepest part of the ocean?" Or
Yeah.
"Hey Meta, can you tell me my text message?" Or "Hey Meta, call dad or mom." Like in the
It's the Mariana Trench.
but now, yeah.
I just looked it up the other day.
Yeah. But this is crazy how the technology is moving so fast too.
it is.
Like,
Speaking of
now I'm just
sunglasses,
completely hands free, and I can just
Right.
I can listen to music. Text,
can you
call.
record
Oh,
videos?
yeah.
Yeah, because we had a speaker,
my
Ashley Hughes,
gosh.
that did a morning networking, and she threw on a pair of sunglasses while she was talking. She's like, I'm recording all of you right now. We're like, what? We had no idea. They're just like normal sunglasses.
Yeah.
And then she put it on her social to kind of show, what it was like. And it was very good.
Yeah,
And
like-
she said these aren't really like super high tech, and it was really good
Freaks
video.
me out a little bit. That
Yeah.
you're always being recorded.
Well, there's it's not
does
very
have a little-
discreet. It's got a light and everything.
But it
so
wasn't
shows.
something. Yeah, there is a light, but
Weird.
with I mean, I didn't even notice the light because it could have
Yeah.
been a reflection or
Yeah, a lot of people. So I'm gonna bring us back.
you
This is-
there were
Recording.
sunglasses.
Yeah. So just a side note, technology. It's just crazy how fast we're all getting
Yeah.
new.
And you just fall, you think you're keeping up, but you fall behind so quick. So yeah, and then another thing that the chamber's a part of is Tiger Community Connections, which is a group that meets once a month it's a group of businesses that meets with the school district, and we talk about different ways to work together. So for example, soon we have a career crawl coming up where teachers are going to be able to go around to different businesses and within the career academies to show the different opportunities that students have that they might not be aware of right here in Princeton.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's going to be, and you're taking part in that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That'll be really fun. So next up, we have communication and information. We have a lot of, this one comes up quite a bit
Yes, it does.
because it's that whole balance of technology and online and
Versus paper.
yes. And, at the chamber for events, we have found that we have to put stuff in the paper. We just have to. Regardless of how expensive it is, we have to do both. We can't just rely on social media.
I still read the paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And honestly, to be in the Town and Country Shopper, which everyone gets for free,
Yep.
it's just something that we have found that we have to balance out. So that's something that we've done. But again, we've done the monthly calendars, and we utilize the website and social media. We just try to cover it all. I think that in this day and age, it used to be where you would either advertise like on the radio or TV or the newspaper.
Right.
And so you'd get the information. Now there are so many different ways to receive information. I feel like that's why you can't get everybody. You put it in the paper, you have it online, you're posting and boosting and reposting, and people still say, I had no idea this was
Yeah.
happening.
Everybody has
Because
their
you're
own
watching too
little
many
thing.
dog videos.
Yeah, maybe a cat. Yeah,
Big
and
TikTok.
so, and I want to mention too that we have started a Facebook page, but please follow because we put so much information on there, but without people, following the page, they're not getting it. So,
Mm-hmm.
age-friendly
Princeton?
Princeton, yep, Facebook page, and like I said, we're gonna soon have a website as well. So next we have public safety, which again, we collaborate with the police and fire, and they are just excellent collaborators. We've had Todd on the podcast a couple times.
Yep, and most recently, we just had a Public Safety Day at the Public Safety Building, and Age Friendly had a booth there, so we participated in that event. Actually, our police chief does participate sometimes in our Age Friendly meetings, and he also participates in the Act on Alzheimer meetings. So we do have a huge public safety presence on our boards and in our community. I'm not sure. That's it.
Yeah, and one thing that we kind of found out through Todd that I wasn't aware of is that you can sign up for what's called Code Red /Notify Me, and it will not only let you know when there's like, was it a loud truck?
I don't know, but that was super loud.
Yeah.
It'll let you know, like, not only about weather emergencies, but if there is some kind of a lockdown in our area or something
It's
that
an
you need
app,
to know
right?
about. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He talked about that on our podcast. And
Yes.
I need to
Yes.
do that.
I can't say enough about our police and fire. They're super involved. They do a lot of trainings to our businesses about active intruder. They're very involved in the schools with that, and several of our manufacturers have had training through them about what to do with an active intruder or a soft lockdown versus a hard lockdown, and
And that's
things like
good to
that.
point out, because I don't know if a lot of businesses know, but if you do call them up, you can actually have a training in any of your local businesses. So
Yep.
if anyone is interested in that, they can contact our police chief on setting up something like that.
Yeah, and they're happy to do it.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. So just kudos, lots of kudos to them. And then, is this our last one? Yeah.
Yep.
The last one is community support and health services. So we are very lucky to have M Health Fairview here in Princeton with lots of different specialty services and emergency services. We have a member of M Health Fairview that sits on our leadership team.
Yep.
And so I think soon they're going to be doing a class. I think you sign up through Community Ed, and it's a class to learn how to do Fairview My Chart. So if you're unfamiliar on how to check that, and they're going to do a class to kind of show you how that works, which I think is really important,
Yep.
especially as we move from, into that technology. And I think sometimes it's unavoidable.
That's what I was just going to say. There's some things you have to learn. You need to have that digital piece.
Yep.
If you want that information.
Yeah.
Yes, I do want to also expand just a little bit on that. I know we talked about TRICAP before, but I wanted to point out that for the health services part of it, they will bring you to and from doctor appointments and things like that. So TRICAP also does help the community with the health services part of this, of our domains.
And we've had some senior health fairs as well,
Yeah.
in collaboration with some nonprofits to get information out there. And they'll, do blood pressure checks and things like that
Yep.
at the health fair. And so,
cool.
age-friendly just is, it really encompasses everything about making our community better.
Yeah.
It's a huge project. Well, it's a huge, collaboration.
It is. It includes a lot of different groups, a lot of different ages, a lot of different organizations that we all come together as one group.
And we meet once a month, and we try to tackle things that we feel that, or we've heard that we need in the community.
Yeah, and I just love that you guys, that you've changed it to, start of life to end of life.
Yep.
Because we really want these young families to come to Princeton and, have a reason to come here and have things for their kids to do, and then like you said, to live here and spend your life here.
Yep.
We also have a representative from Community Ed on our leadership team. So it's just really nice to hear, because then they hear, certain things about preschool or what offerings they have or don't have, or, having all these different people on our leadership team from different organizations is really helpful to find out what's happening in the community and what the needs are. And we don't necessarily, I don't know how to say this, but we don't necessarily fix the problem ourselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But we might say, hey, City of Princeton, we're hearing that this park could use I don't know, just an example. So then we would work with the city of Princeton, and it's not like we're out there building a bench.
Right. Our
You know.
leadership group
Right.
has
Yeah.
such a diverse group of people in different organizations that I think that we almost can reach more people that way. And not our group is always specifically doing everything, but say, like the tech classes, we put community ed together with Sterling Point and things like that. So we have these different various organizations on our committee that help facilitate some of these things. So it's not necessarily always the age-friendly group monitoring them.
Yeah, or doing the
Or
work.
doing the work.
Yeah, I mean, even after we got the pickleball courts up, we heard it'd be really nice to have a place to sit and watch somebody play. And so now there's benches out there.
Yep.
And now
yeah.
there's
The Parks
actually,
guys made them, yep.
Yeah, and they were made by the Parks Department. And then there's also now cornhole, are they like concrete?
Yep, the concrete
Like
cornhole
permanent
boards.
cornhole
Yeah,
boards.
Yep,
those
at
are really cool.
Civic Center Park and Riverside.
So you just have to bring bags.
So do people contact you for needs? Like, for example, I need yard work done. Not me, but somebody, would they contact you and say that, and then you could have a volunteer? Because you talked about volunteerism. And for groups out there in the community that like to volunteer, would that be a great place to start? Like to contact Age Friendly and say, hey, I have a group?
It
To
could
volunteer?
be. We do have somebody from RSVP, which is a volunteer organization.
Okay.
Also, I was just speaking with somebody from the United Way who serves this area about volunteerism and trying to figure out a way to have a place where, because what happens sometimes is a group will say, I've got a group of 10 people that I'd like to volunteer next weekend. That is really hard to get together and
Right.
figure out in that short a period of time.
Who they can
But
help.
if we could have a list of needs somewhere, okay, this has not happened like this before.
Popular.
Yeah, if we could have a list of needs listed somewhere where we could just go to it and say, yeah, this place needs a group, this place needs a group.
That
then-
would be
Yes.
awesome.
And I think both those groups are working on that. RSVP does have something like that, and I believe that the United Way is working on a portal
They
like
are,
that.
they
yes.
are. They have a portal going. One thing that she expressed that's difficult is these nonprofits are on the ground doing the work. So they have they're always saying, yeah, we need help. But they don't, she has a hard time getting them to say specifically, we could use help here, here, and here. Because they just don't have the time to kind of put that together. So
Right.
she's kind of working on how we can pull that information out and get some specifics on it, because it's definitely needed. And volunteerism, I think, has really dropped.
Jeez.
Loud vehicles.
Yeah,
Coffee
phone
machine.
ringing, coffee
Phone
machine,
ringing.
yeah, it's been, so that's kind of a few of the things that Age Friendly works on. And
We are trying to work on solidifying the indoor walking and the gathering and games. We've had some that were just doing it for a few months, some doing it, just sporadically. So we're trying to solidify that. So it's just an ongoing thing all year long. So that is something that we're working on. We're working on getting new cards for those.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, and the indoor walking will start up again sooner than we'd probably like to think. And as things
When
come
does
to
it
us.
start? Is there a time?
Well,
Just
just
when it
when it
gets
gets cold, too cold to walk outside.
Yeah.
So hopefully not till January?
Yep, last time it was January to May.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
It's
because
winter, we
were-
could walk outside all year.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, so we got that finally together, and then it was like, well, it's not really needed, so we'll
Yeah.
see what happens this year.
Yep. So right now on the Princeton City website, we actually have a tab at the very top on the front page of the website that says Age Friendly. You click on that and it brings it to the Age Friendly page with all the different information regarding the domains, the projects we're working on, the calendar, some different events, things like that. Eventually, Age Friendly will be having their own website, so once we have that up and running, that will be advertised. And Age Friendly also has a Facebook page that we would love you to like and follow and share.
Nice.
And when the
Excellent.
website gets up, it'll be agefriendlyprincetonmn.org. So Stacy, I know you weren't super excited about, being on camera and on the podcast, but you did awesome, and we know that you're extremely busy at the city, so thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you for
to be a
having
part
me.
of the podcast. So until next time, this is Kim, Zach, and Mary signing off. This is Princeton. Stay here, play here. Podcast produced by Kitzman Creations, music by Charles Moe. Be sure to subscribe to the Princeton Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Also, to view our awkward moments, check us out on our YouTube channel and visit us at www.thisisprincetonmn.co.